The legend of Shakuntala originates from a renowned ancient Indian epic, most notably found in the Mahabharata and repopularized in the classical drama Abhijnanasakuntalam by the poet Kalidasa. The story is filled with beauty, love, sacrifice, and destiny, connecting humanity and the divine world. Within the vast epic Mahabharata lies a story that would become the foundation of Indian identity, the story of Shakuntala, a woman whose fate determined the course of civilization. Shakuntala was born at the intersection of the human world and the heavenly realm. Her father was Rishi Vishvamitra, a great sage whose asceticism was so powerful that it shocked the gods. They feared that if Vishvamitra attained spiritual perfection, he would usurp Indra's throne. So, the gods sent Menaka, a beautiful nymph, to seduce the sage. From this encounter, a baby girl was born. However, Menaka, unable to care for the baby, abandoned her in the forest, right on the banks of a river. The baby was guarded by Shakunta birds. A holy sage, Rishi Kanva, found her and named her Shakuntala, protected by the birds. Under Kanva's care, Shakuntala grew into a graceful, gentle girl, devoted to the sages and the natural world around her. Time elapsed. Shakuntala is increasingly known for her understated beauty. One day, King Dushyanta, ruler of the Pura Dynasty, was hunting in the forest. He got lost until he arrived at Kanva's hermitage. There he saw Shakuntala watering the plants. Instantly, the king was enchanted. Dushyanta was not only captivated by Shakuntala's looks, but also by her gentleness, her words, and the simplicity of her life. Love blossomed between the two. In an atmosphere full of purity, they married in the Gandhar Vivaha manner, a marriage based on love, without major rituals. As a sign of binding, Dushyanta handed over the royal ring to Shakuntala, promising to take her to the palace. However, fate often takes a tricky path. One day, when the great sage Durvasa visited the hermitage, Shakuntala was lost in thought, thinking about Dushyanta. Lost in her longing, she failed to notice the sage's presence and neglected to greet him respectfully. Durvasa, known for his quick temper, felt insulted. He uttered a curse, "The one you think of will never remember you again." Hearing this, Shakuntala was shocked. With tears in her eyes, she begged for forgiveness. Durvasa, overcome by his grief, finally lifted the curse. Dushyanta would remember her if he saw the ring of love. Time passed, and Shakuntala became pregnant with Dushyanta's child. Rishi Kanva decided to send her to the palace to be accepted as his queen. However, on the way, the ring accidentally fell into the river and was swallowed by a fish. When Shakuntala confronted Dushyanta, the king completely ignored her. Durvasa's curse had taken effect. Shakuntala was rejected outright, accused of lying, and banished from the palace. Heartbroken, she did not return to the hermitage. In deep anguish, she chose to live in the forest, where she gave birth to her child. The child was named Bharata. Fate works in its own way. One day, a fisherman found a king's ring in the belly of a fish he had caught. He brought it to the palace. Upon seeing the ring, Dushyanta's memories returned. A sense of realization struck him, and deep regret tormented his heart. Dushyanta immediately set out to find Shakuntala. He eventually found her in the forest, with a small child playing with a lion. The child was Bharata, who would later be known as one of the greatest kings in Indian history. Shakuntala and Dushyanta were eventually reunited. Bharata grew into a wise, brave, and majestic king. From his name, the term Bharata was born, which remains the name for the land of India to this day. The legend of Shakuntala is not only a time-tested love story, but also a historical mythological narrative that marks the birth of a nation. In literature, this story was beautifully immortalized by Kalidasa in his Abhijnanasakuntalam, which went on to become one of the most influential works of classical Indian literature. We hope the stories we've shared can entertain, inspire, and teach you positive things. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us on YouTube to stay connected. We're always happy to share joy and education through the world of mythology. See you in the next mythological story.